to the International Franchise Association's Women's Franchise Committee podcast, Her Success, the stories of female franchise leaders. I am Dawn Abamondi with SMB Franchise Advisors, and today I am speaking with Lisa Rossmann from Hand & Stone. Thank you, Lisa, for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's wonderful. So I'm going to just share a little bit with our listeners about you. Lisa Rossmann serves as the Vice President of Brand Experience at Hand & Stone Franchise Corporation, which currently has 540 locations in the US and Canada. Lisa's career began in the mortgage banking industry, and in 2009, she decided to follow her passion for beauty and wellness and obtained licensure as a professional skin therapist. From there, she launched a career in the spa industry, beginning with the medical spa segment. She joined the Hand & Stone team under founder John Marco and CEO Todd Leff in 2012, working in general spa operations support when the brand had approximately 60 units opened. In 2016, Lisa transitioned to specifically overseeing skincare operations, along with the service and product innovation pipeline. Over the last 3 years, Lisa's role has expanded to include massage operations, as well as the company's front desk training program and student massage education program. Lisa is truly fulfilled by Hand & Stone's mission to provide high quality and affordable massage and facial services to all as part of their regular lifestyle, not just as a treat to themselves. Lisa, that last part is amazing advice, and I think everyone should remember that. So can you share your story? How did you get into franchising? What led you to where you are today?
Sure. So it was kind of a zigzag path on my career trajectory, not unlike many others that decide on a career change at a certain point. I came out of college working in the mortgage banking industry, subprime mortgage crisis, when, it was a booming business and the real estate market was really hot. And I learned a lot. I worked as an account executive, and so worked in B2B and developed a lot of relationships with different customers, et cetera. And it was a lot of fun during that time, but it wasn't really what I had a passion or lean towards. And once the financial crisis hit, I really took pause and started reflecting on what I actually wanted to do. And I was always very interested in the beauty and wellness industry overall, but I didn't know how to enter it. And once you're already in on your career, it's hard to take that step back and be willing to just completely clean slate, start over at square one, or even know how to get in. But I decided that my best chance for gaining entry was to create value for myself with knowledge. So I actually enrolled at the Aveda Institute down in Soho in New York while I was living in the city. And I became a licensed esthetician. And I went through the entire coursework, earned a state license. And from there, I obtained a job working at American laser centers, doing, all kinds of really neat laser treatments, IPL, laser hair removal, photo facials, et cetera. And that was a lot of fun. And I spent time in that for a couple of years, but I didn't love the med spa part of things. I didn't think I was contributing to that last part of the sentence that you shared as part of my bio, which is really just bringing affordable, high quality service to all and really putting it right in the direct consumer path. Those med spa services were still more niche. And so I decided, it was time for me to go back into the spa world, the more general spa world. And I saw the posting for Hand & Stone. Believe it or not, the job posting was on Craigslist at the time. And I applied. They brought me in, and I was interviewed by our founder, John Marco, as well as the CEO at the time, Todd Leff, who is our current chairman. And they found my background to be really unique, having the B2B experience, as well as the skincare specific experience and direct operations working in a spa environment. They felt could be a good fit for working as a consultant for our new franchisees coming in, opening stores, and guiding them through revenue driving practices, marketing the business, et cetera. So that's how I sort of got into Hand and Stone. And it's my 11th year here at Franchise Corp. And every year I feel like I fall more in love with the brand, what we stand for, and what we're actually offering to consumers who are all looking for self-care and wellness and integrating that into, their monthly routines.
That's a great background, great story. I think your experience lends itself really well to franchising and supporting franchise owners because of that very varied experience. So I think that they could trust their gut feel with your background and know that you would be a huge asset to the company. And in 11 years, you've moved through a number of positions. If you have to think back, whether it's before Hand and Stone or within the brand, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment? What are you most proud of?
Sure. When I came into the business, we were primarily a massage branded organization with skincare really as a secondary service offering. It's always been baked into our brand, but really we led with massage, and our advertising, the consumer interest had always led with massage. And a few years in, I recognized that there was a huge opportunity, not only for Hand and Stone as a brand to really differentiate from the other players in this segment by focusing on skincare, but we had all of these talented service providers that were just really hungry for more knowledge and training and education, because they wanted to educate their communities on the importance of taking care of your skin, right? And at the time, most people thought they understood that putting on SPF when you go out in the sun, that was skincare, right? So I think overall, which I don't know if I could even call this an accomplishment, because I really consider it the infinite game, but what I am most proud of is how we have actually built consumer awareness on the importance of skincare across the country. And it's a continued mission for us, is teaching the communities that we are operating in that you should be taking care of your skin, that professional skin treatments are important. What is a licensed esthetician, and how can they help you, and how can you build a relationship with them? And the fact that we have successfully built that consumer awareness and we've created a need and a demand for skincare treatments is something that I'm incredibly proud of. And skincare has now become a primary component of our business. And we're actually beginning to really shift our marketing and our consumer messaging to lead with the skincare offer, because massage awareness is already there. People are always going to call in and want massages. They understand they need them, but skincare is now becoming our leading offer. So I'm very proud of that.
Oh, that's awesome. So I have been a member with Hand and Stone for a number of years, and that's not just, to plug because you're here, but I do believe in it. And it started, my massage experience started with therapy, physical therapy, recovering from a car accident became a part of my routine for recovery. But then after that, I really missed it and was appreciative of the things that you and the brand had done in order to make it more affordable, because in the beginning it was covered under insurance and then I had to pay out of pocket. But I did transition to facials and skincare too, because it's almost as relaxing, and then your face just looks amazing. So
that's a lot of people needed convincing in the beginning that a facial treatment could be relaxing. A lot of people think you're going to walk out, super red and inflamed, and it will be painful. And there's a lot of gadgets in there, and the massage room just looks so much less intimidating. But once you try it, you become a fan.
Yeah, absolutely. The estheticians really do a job to just give you that kind of escape from everyday stress, and then you walk out really feeling refreshed. So I'm a big fan.
Perfect. Glad that you are.
So are there any challenges that you faced in your journey throughout your career, personal life, family, anything that you would like to share that might inspire some of our listeners?
Sure. Professionally, I think that, our franchisee, we have a wonderful franchisee network. They are an incredibly collegial group of individuals who are always willing to share ideas and boost each other up. And it's just an incredible environment. In the earlier days, it did take a lot of work to convince our franchisees that they should focus on skincare, because the massage side of the business was organically growing. without a lot of lift up effort. And skincare, you really do have to work that side of the business, create the demand, convince your customers who are coming in just for massages that they should give a facial a try, or convincing the outside consumer to try us first for a facial. So I think one of my challenges in the earlier days was really connecting even one at a time with our owners to convince them of the importance of focusing on that side of the business, and really just having to win them over with wins on innovation launches we did, or showing them the margin on a lot of the facials we offer, or, you know, even the availability of estheticians as a employee base, which is an easier group to hire from. There's a bigger pool. The beauty business is booming, and there are several new estheticians coming into the industry every year. So for a lot of reasons, it was worth them focusing on skincare. But there were hurdles along the way, and there still are as we launch new innovations, and, you know, we try to keep the brand fresh. It certainly takes some convincing to get our owners on board with the new innovation or why they should bring it in, et cetera. But again, it keeps everyone engaged, the consumers, the employee base, and it's exciting. So that's kind of a challenge, if you want to call it that. But everybody really does seem to be on board and understands why they should focus on skincare now. So the new challenge becomes, how do we help them create more demand for skincare and fill those appointment books? So that would be a professional challenge, I would say. Personally, I'm a mom. And so, you know, I think any mom can understand when you're trying to drive and lean in on your career, how difficult it can be to show up for both all the time. And always, you know, feel like when you're doing one thing, you're missing out on things happening on that other side. And just giving yourself permission that you're not the first person to be doing this. You're not the only ones to be doing this. So no awards deserved, but also try and drop the guilt, you know, and that's something that it's ongoing, but you just try to find ways to deal with it. And, you know, I like to include my daughter in as much as I can with my work life so that she can see what I'm up to and understand that hard work is a good thing, and to show her that we're actually building a brand. And I think that's really cool to be able to show her that I can do that and show up for school car line too at 3 o'clock.
Right. Absolutely. The school car line. So can you, do you think of one moment maybe that just clicked for you, that you would want to share, you know, an inspirational thought for somebody thinking about changing their career or deciding to have children and pursue a career, anything in that regard?
For sure. So I don't like to label myself as a feminist, but I have become sort of the de facto girl in the company that, you know, others will talk to, and they're thinking about having a baby, or how am I going to juggle all of this? And, you know, do I need to just, you know, kind of fall back if I do have kids, or, you know, what is it? But there was actually one defining moment that helped me. And I've used that so many times when I'm talking to others, whether it's on my team or just colleagues. And that was right after I had my daughter. So this was my first annual review after returning to work with Todd, our CEO. And he was giving me a good review overall. And at the end of the review, he asked if I had any thoughts or anything back. And at the time, I really felt like I was not on my A game anymore. There's just such a shift from before you have a baby to afterwards, and how efficient and you have to work, and having a certain amount of hours to get it done, and just really having to be productive, no other choice. And I just really didn't feel like I was bringing it like I used to. I felt like I'd lost my structure and organization and everything, just loss of control, really. And I brought that up to him, and I said, I'm glad that you feel I'm doing good work. I have to admit, I don't feel I'm the same Lisa that I was the last time we met for my review. And I'm worried that I'm going to fall short of my professional goals, and also what your expectations are of me, because I have everything. I have a baby now, and I want to be there for her too. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, look, here's what I'm not impressed by. I'm not impressed by the person that stays at the office till 7 p.m. That just shows me they couldn't get what they needed to get done by 5. You're going to have to be okay with leaving work every day with things left on the list. I know you liked crossing them all off by the end of the day before, but that's your life's changed now. You're going to have to be okay with that. I measure output, not hours. So figure out a way to get it done. I don't care where you do it. I don't care when you do it or how you do it. Just do it. And that moment, it was just a shifting moment for me mentally that has changed my entire career trajectory. Because I get the work done wherever I need to, however I need to, and it's on my own terms. But the point is, it gets done, whether it was with a baby on my lap or on vacation with my family, just taking that 1 hour just to stay on top of things, or a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon, just get it done. And that was, I wouldn't be where I am today without that comment, because he gave me the permission that I needed to do this my way. And I think I've helped others that I work with in those conversations when they have a baby and they're just like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. And it's like, let's just figure out a way to make this work for you and your family. And that's so rewarding. That's the most fulfilling part of my career at this point.
I love that you took his guidance and leadership and have, shared that with your team as they've had similar experiences. I have 3 children, so I do understand that. Every time I came back from having a baby, I would be offered a new position, which was really more, hey, we have tagged you for this.
Yeah.
And I felt completely at a loss. Like you said, I wasn't on my A game. I wasn't doing the work that I thought I could do. And it was more challenging, but you do find a way to get it done. And I think having that leadership reinforce that you don't have to be there until all hours, and the output is worth it versus the hours. So I think that's great advice. Is there some one person, 2 people, 3 people maybe, who you would say have been inspirational to you and have just guided you through your career as you've grown?
Yeah, I would say there's actually people I know, and then people that I don't know, but are just incredible in what they do and are role models to me. Professionally in my own network, I would definitely say Todd was a great mentor to me. He taught me a lot about franchising, and he also taught me a lot about how to conduct myself in terms of always staying even, knowing that there's ups and downs, knowing you're going to scrape your knees, but just maintaining an even composition in whatever situation you're dealt, because your delivery, even if you're right on something, can impact a situation in a way that gets an outcome you're not looking for. So I always would think, like, when I got myself into situations where I had to give advice or something had happened and I needed to handle, between 2 franchisees or what have you, I would always kind of think, what would Todd do? And he brought me up into this, and he believed in me to bring me into the system, and he is a legend in franchising. And I was fortunate enough to come into the company and be directly mentored by him. Most people don't get that opportunity, but he gave me and my colleague Megan, who's our VP of Ops, he gave us time one-on-one every Friday for an hour. And the knowledge that I gained during that hour a week has served me throughout my career. So he has been amazing to me. And our current CEO, John Teza, has a ton of franchising experience and is just one of the most wonderful and sincere people you will ever meet. He always has time. He is so forward thinking and fun to be around that it's fun to quicken the pace alongside of him and work with him as we move forward and the brand evolves. So he's been awesome as well. And then just, there's a couple of girls out there who are doing their thing and I love, and that's like Sarah Blakely, Spanx. She's so real. She's an uber successful business person, but she just like always brings herself to the table, and she doesn't try to be this like super buttoned up professional, saying the right things all the time. She's goofy, she's fun. You can make it fun. And I love and respect that. And then Whitney Wolfhard of Bumble, she's killing it and, you know, just doing awesome things on her own terms and rolling babies into board meetings, you know, a couple of months after giving birth, and just showing us that, like, yeah, this, why I don't need to hide the fact that I just had a kid. I can still run a company. So I think that's really awesome.
Absolutely. I think that if you don't have that leadership support, then the forerunners who are doing that for other women, for parents, I was fortunate enough that I had, you know, it was leadership team is leaving, we're going away for a weekend, or we're going away for 4 days. And I had just come back and I said, I can't leave my daughter until she's a year old. And I said, bring her, bring somebody to care for her during the day if you need to go take a break.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, I think I have to thank those people who did that, but I also agree with you. I have to thank those who are forging ahead and creating a new path for the future. And having children and having a personal life is part of every day. So we can't be the professionals that we are without that downtime. So,
Absolutely.
okay. So let's talk a little bit about the team that you're leading. Well, you lead a number of teams. Some of them sound like they may be younger or transitioning into a new career. So, you know, think about the women or even the men who are just starting out their careers. How do you empower and motivate them to do their best?
A lot of them are very nervous to mess something up. And, you know, some of them are started at least in that mentality of, you know, if I am assigned a project and I turn it in and there's revisions or things that we need to redirect a little bit. A few of them started out and it was like, oh man, I did a bad job, and they got down on themselves. And so there was a bit of a curve there in which it's like, no, this is part of it. You know, I'm empowering you. I paint the picture of what I would like to see done. And then you go back and, you know, kind of with that in mind, put together how you'd like it to look. Then let's meet and review it again and, you know, revise however needed. And that's the only way to learn. What I'm not a fan of is having to wait for a certain amount of tenure to give someone a project, assign them and, you know, not give them that credibility. Like, I'd rather see someone scrape their knees on something and then, you know, we can kind of reflect on it. And then that, in my opinion, much better prepares them for the role. It's a big confidence builder, in my opinion. And we do still run a very lean team overall. So everybody really has to run fast all the time. And with 540 locations, every single effort we make has to be of scale and depth. So we have to be able to reach a huge audience. And so a lot of the ways that we do that are through web-based types of trainings and large regional types of showcases. So their confidence, you know, needs to go like this really quickly so that they can get up in front of a ton of people at a time, 100 plus, and be able to share the ideas or the actions and with confidence, and then be able to take the questions. And the only way to do that is just by jumping right in. So I'm a big fan of empowerment from day one, very regular huddles and a lot of cross training. We do a lot of cross training so that everybody knows what's going on. I can't stand when everyone's operating in silos. It makes things look very disorganized, and you can obviously have much better context when you know what it looks like. For us, like a lot of the time, front of the house, back of the house, right? What's happening in the lobby, the manager and the spa associates who are interacting with the guests, and then back of the house, the actual services and the flow of that. And there can sometimes be disconnect. So making sure that's all running to a nice symphony. Cross training is a great way to accomplish that.
Wonderful. Lots and lots of good advice in there. If you had to pick one moment in your life, in your career, what do you say is your proudest moment?
I I'm actually the proudest of the moment that I decided to take a chance on myself and just do a total pivot in my career path. Wasn't a ton of support behind that. It was a big switch and a lot of confusion just about the profession and the why behind why I would want to pursue skincare, beauty, wellness. I was asked, do you plan on, painting nails for the rest of your life? And what did you go to college for? And, what does this all mean? And why are you doing this? And, you could get an interview with a big Fortune 500 if you want, and I'll get you an interview, don't worry. And it wasn't about that. It was about having enough belief in myself and not feeling like I had to conform to what everybody else wanted or expected or thought that I was. Just be true to yourself and I was like, I'm not going to look left. I'm not going to look right. I'm just going to look straight ahead. And I'm just going to follow this because I know in my gut, this is going to lead somewhere good. And I'm really, really glad I did that because I think I would have gotten stuck career-wise in something that looked like the right spot for me. But it would not have been nearly as fulfilling. And I just now feel so much abundance showered down on me because I did that for me, that I think that now actually motivates me so much more to pay it forward with my team members and just do what you feel is right for you. I'm really, really glad that I did that. That was my defining moment. I never would be here today. I would have never gained entry into the field I wanted to be in if I didn't do that.
I think that's incredible background story. It reminds me of a conversation I had with John at Open for Opportunity, which happened earlier this year. And we were talking about education and bringing new people into trades, personal care, services. And I think that's very insightful what you said. And it was a hard conversation. I've been there. I have an engineering degree. I decided to leave engineering and project management and go into marketing. People thought I was completely crazy, but it was the right decision for me. And I think that as we look at the world today and college tuition and the expense that puts, that burden that it puts on young adults, that there are other options. You don't have to pursue corporate, franchising can grow into a corporate job, but the whole foundation of franchising is it isn't corporate, so to speak. So, I know I transitioned a little bit on you with that because I had that conversation with John just recently. Do you have advice that you want to share for those who are listening, who are thinking of getting into therapy, personal care, not choosing to go to college, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. It's astonishing to me the kind of debt people are coming out of college with, in many cases, with an aimless path of what they're even going to do with the degree they've just earned, and mountains of debt that's going to carry through with them for 15 plus years afterwards. So huge fan of the trade professions. They definitely feel like they got a bad negative connotation rap to them for a long time, but I actually do feel like there's a big resurgence now. People are seeing that there is great money and tons of opportunities in a lot of different vocations. Wellness is, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry and only growing. I absolutely think the younger generation, Gen Z, needs no convincing that they should be taking care of their skin and focusing on mental wellness, physical wellness, and just a full end-to-end self-care routine. So I only see upside for this industry overall. And you can absolutely, to your point, make a great living and career, not a job, a career, especially by aligning with a brand that has all the resources and support that Hand and Stone offers. And it's so rewarding for me to hear we have an internal community of our service providers on Facebook, a closed channel. And even just the other day, an esthetician posted that it was her 6-year anniversary with Hand and Stone, and that she had been a licensed professional for many years, but this was the first time she had found her home. And it wasn't just a job. And she was so appreciative of the community and being a part of it, and the fact that she was able to make a career out of this. And I think that's what we offer. Our culture is fabulous, and we have so many people that move up through the system and will start as estheticians, and some remain them, and some are six-figure estheticians, and it's incredible. And then some want to go into more leadership roles. They want to become corporate trainers, or they move into franchise corp. But there is a path, and it should not be discounted. And you definitely should not listen to people who maybe don't understand that that might be something you're interested in. I definitely think follow your passion, because success always follows passion.
That is also excellent advice. You have to love what you're doing.
I do. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
How
no,
could it
I
not
think
be
that's
fun?
wonderful. So before we wrap, is there any other advice that you didn't get to share today? I'm going to have to go back and listen to this several times, because I think there was a lot of good advice, and I'm excited that the Women's Franchise Committee is going to be able to share this with many people who I think will be very inspired by your words today.
Well, thank you. I don't know. I think just all in all, I just think that it's just double down and bet on yourself. Just overall, that's the clearest message. I can't say that I'm surprised that we've had success as a brand and professionally myself. I think you just, you take advantage of the opportunities that are presented. Always look for solutions to things. I think that's what creates value for yourself is, when you step up even unasked and offer solutions to things that just maybe you see. But don't hang back. I think that would be my suggestion for anyone who's working in a field where, they're worried that like they see something, but they don't say it because everybody's just going along with a process or a system just because that's what's been established. And they don't want to speak up and they don't want to shake the apple cart. But personally, I'd rather shake the apple cart and be, intense and just really swing for the fences every single day. Because it's worth it in the end. It's something you can be proud of. And I have the great pride of saying I've helped build this amazing brand that brings happiness to so many people's lives. So.
Oh, congratulations on all of the success you've had. I really, really appreciate you taking the time today. It's been really nice to get to know you and be able to help share your story. You and I are both members of the Women's Franchise Network in Philadelphia, and we are excited that we are back in person and having events. So if there's anyone listening who would like to learn more about the Women's Franchise Network, which is part of the IFA and the Women's Franchise Committee, they can go to franchise.org, about us, women in franchising, and learn more about the other committees. New chapters are forming and starting up every day. There's a new chapter starting in Arizona. There's another one starting in Raleigh. So thank you again, Lisa. And for those of us listening, please look up to your local WFN chapter and get involved.